Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Hum Live at the 8 Aftershow podcast, where today we sat down with the band The Electrick Nobody to discuss life, music, and longevity in Memphis. Enjoy.
Well, you know what? We are live at the 8, once again, live at Station 8 Productions. We are joined by The Electrick Nobody. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, Bret. Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
So I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you guys. It's only been a couple of weeks since the performance, and the people that are listening to this now and watching this now are people that have already likely enjoyed the incredible performance. How'd it feel? How was it?
Felt great.
Yeah, it was,
I know I had a good time.
A lot of fun.
We had a cookout
pretty
too.
grooving, yeah.
My ribs are almost healed now, so that's
Yeah, you got hit with a chair.
Pretty
a little
good.
dramatic, but for effect, yeah. But we had the cookout too, though. We had like a full cookout before
Yeah, we did.
we had the performance. Did it help?
Oh yeah,
definitely
really,
some
really
good
helped
smoked
set the mood because that's kind of how we all got together anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's like initially, or just at the time of the
Well,
performance?
when we started and kept at it, we started cooking out at the old practice house
Yeah.
at Cooper Young, and every time we got together, we were cooking ribs, chicken.
Sounds like a
brats,
really hard way to come together and play music.
So difficult.
it was a lifestyle.
We should start off because I know you guys, but who am I talking to? Let's start over here.
All right, I'm Christopher Lee Crother. I play guitar.
Crowther.
Crother, yeah.
I just learned that right now
So-
at this moment. And now I'm
Pronounced
happy
just
I
like
did.
it's spelt.
Beautiful.
I didn't know his last name for like
Yeah.
the first 3 years I knew him.
I've been calling him Chris Crowther.
Yeah. What was it, hype on the radio that
That's
time?
kind of what
It
I
was like
assumed.
Chris Carruthers. Like, you know me for 10 years.
All right, so we got Chris over here. So tell me real quickly, too, what you do in the band.
I play rhythm guitar and I keep it alive.
Keep things organized. Someone's got to do it.
The band father.
So
Yeah,
to your left, who do we have over here?
Mm-hmm.
Giggling.
My name is Vino Thomas, and I play the bass guitar.
Did you lower the tone of your voice and give more bass to emphasize the fact that you play bass? Because it sounded nice.
Never
in my
do
head.
such a thing.
Never.
Well, cool. And over here,
My name is Rico. I'm the lead singer. I write some of the stuff. Definitely a lot of the lyrics, but as well as Vino does. But
so you two on the lyrics.
most of the time,
Yeah.
yes. But, you know, everybody's kind of got their inputs, you know, how they feel about things. Or, you know, somebody may come with the idea, hey, you know, see if you can work this in there. So it's never 100%, you know.
Yeah, sometimes the
one or the
lyrics
other.
come from conversations that we're having just like this.
Yeah, we have like a mood and an emotion that we want to bring out in the song, and so we just kind of bounce the lyrics around.
So I'm interested to hear more about it, but I do want to finish. We got to give the other band members their due. So we got two more that are part of the band, not here with us today. So one of them, Hype, love Hype. Josh is great too, but Hype he was something else, man.
Yeah,
You can see his personality in the skit in the video. Like that was just him being him, I think.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's our
He's-
heart.
Yeah, he lives up to the name. Definitely.
So all right, so tell us, Hype. You got Hype Jones, right? He's drums.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
And Josh Jennings on guitar.
Nice.
We call him Good Time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I knew he had a nickname.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
always in such a good, easygoing
Yeah,
mood.
he's-
Just call him Good Time.
He's
JJ.
chill.
Yeah, very
He
laid
is so
back.
chill, man. Yeah, I called him New Jay for a while there, you know, because he was the newest guy around. But, you know, after a while, he came into his own.
Yeah, so you guys have been playing music in some form or fashion for a while now. Let's kind of go back to the beginning and start with just the history of the band and how you've gotten to now. So, like, how many years we've been at this?
Well, it was 1900.
Yesterday actually marks the 13th anniversary of our first show.
13 years.
Yeah,
So, how hard is it to keep a band together that long?
Oh, wow. I've seen worse marriages.
I don't know if that's saying a lot.
no, I just,
Yeah.
you just got to keep it
So
loose.
13 years ago, how did it happen? How did it start?
Well, actually, the three of us worked together in the dying days of the Pyramid in the Mid-South Coliseum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We
R.I.P.,
met as stagehands.
R.I.P.
Local
so-
stage hands.
And some years went by. I kind of lost contact with them. and me and Vino kind of had a chance encounter, and
I like how you're keeping it
Yeah.
ambiguous. We had an
through,
encounter.
Yeah, we
through
just-
a mutual friend who's no
things just
longer
clicked,
with us.
and we started just writing some songs together, me and him, and then our membership kind of branched off from there, and we just started building on the foundation. And a lot of these songs are from those first few months, and we're still playing them after 13 years. But we're trying to get them out to everybody. We want to. They might be old to us, but they're new to the world.
yeah, if you haven't heard them, I mean, it's something new for your ear hole. Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, and Memphis Bread too. And that's
right.
kind of the point of the performance that we had here, is to just add another element of showcasing what you guys have going on.
That's
What do
right.
you
It's
what do you
straight out
think?
of Memphis? You can taste it in the music.
That's right. What do you think has been, I guess, like the major shift as to like why now is the time to be more aggressive and outputting with all of the music that you've written over the last 13 years?
I'd say that has a lot to do with where we are in life just as adults. You hit that point in life where it's like, okay, you start kind of weighing those priorities and things, and like, at a certain point we kind of looked at it like, are we trying to do something here, or are we just going to get together every few months and play some nostalgic gig? And I think everybody was pretty much on the same page at that point. Was like, we're too old to just keep messing around. It can be an expensive hobby. And we have all these songs. I mean, so many more that we haven't, even like completed or necessarily just shared with anyone else yet, and things to, get around to. And it's like, there's no point in just leaving these things collecting dust for no one to enjoy. So that was a lot to do with it. It's like, it's time to kind of make those moves and put these songs out there for the world to hear.
Mm-hmm. And you guys kind of have, like a vault of music, right? It's not just like a handful. Like when I first was talking, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, you got like an album. You're like, nah, we got like 15 songs ready to go. Like, more coming. So, I mean, has there been like, did you have like those core songs and that core music that you were kind of writing and developing at the beginning, and kind of have like an evolution through the process of the last 13 years and playing together? Like what it look like?
Well, over the last year plus couple months, I would say we really have gone to taking these very seriously on what we were doing and what the songs were about, the content of the lyrics, the music itself, and who we are as individuals and as a band. And yeah, there are very core songs that we still love playing after 13 years, and we're still, each time we play those songs, they seem to evolve or get a different emotion out of them from the last time we played them. And so we're still evolving as musicians and growing together as brothers, and as families. And yeah, we are continually writing songs.
So the last year you mentioned, so we got to talk about it, right? It's inevitable. Was coronavirus, was it good for the writing process and the creative process, or was it something that was kind of detrimental? I've heard both sides from the creatives that, the people we've worked with, that it was good and bad,
For the Electrick Nobody, it was a wonderful thing, because there was no place to go play, because we could have, as Rico mentioned, it could have been nostalgia things, and nothing would have gotten actually done. We may or may not have been at this point where we are this afternoon, had it not been for Corona, because that gave us a lot of time. Actually,
That was the main thing. I feel like it's
sit and work on this music.
Yes,
And that was then the music and the work that we put in was really needed.
Yes,
Yeah.
it definitely was. Before that, I would say, it just with having, regular lives, or what's regular, but, having lives, having people in your life that you care about and you take care of and things to do, it was so easy to be like, just kind of not worrying about the band as much. And like when it came up, hey, you want to do this gig, and everybody like kind of scrambled to get together whenever we could and get in a couple practices, 2 or 3, whatever. play this gig and then right back to nothing with the band. So yeah, that time definitely, was well needed. As he said, we were able to sit and really.
We've spent hundreds of hours in a storage locker.
Yes.
Just pounding out these songs and just bringing them alive again,
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's definitely
a brand new life to these songs.
Yeah.
They mean a lot more than they ever have over the last 13 years now.
And that's because you think the time that you collaborated and spent together just kind of would you consider it like enhancement of the music in a way, like just adding more of the detail and nuance to it that maybe you didn't have the time beforehand?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. And I know that the music industry got very stagnant and complacent, and everything sounded the same. Whatever station you went to, no matter what genre it was, they were interchangeable. Nobody was actually, to find new music that was fresh was hard to come by. And yeah, some of these songs are 13 years old, but man, to hear them, to feel them, and it's something that the music nowadays is lacking.
So going to the writing process, since we're on the subject, what is kind of the dynamic when you guys are locking yourselves in the storage room with your instruments and God knows what else, right? But no, when you come together to do this, like what is the dynamic that you guys have to make this music?
It's really just kind of a laid back kind of thing, We all show up, around the same time. You know how that goes. And usually we're just kind of chatting it up, asking each other how's life been and such things, and telling whatever little funny stories we may have happened to each other since the last time. But yeah, usually we just kind of chill, and like we already know, like, hey, what we're working towards has already been discussed, like do we need, say, like in preparation to work with you guys, like we knew, okay, we need certain songs that we want to use. So it was more focusing on those songs than like, say, getting ready for, show, a festival or something like that. Just a longer gig. Let's say you're doing more songs, and it's like, okay, now let's think about a set list. So we always kind of know what we're trying to accomplish. It could be just working on new stuff. Like, hey, let's get this song down. If that's the only thing we get done, we had, I don't know how many of those practices were. And it may have been one of the older songs, but we like stayed on one song for half the practice and then maybe went over two more after that. But so it's kind of already known amongst each other, like what we're trying to accomplish when we get in there. So we just keep it laid back, and kind of get at it.
Chris, you seem like you're thinking of something over there.
As far as like the writing process, we'll kind of have an emotion we want, and then one of the guys will come with a real elaborate, good sounding lick, and then I'll just beat it down to the most simplest form because I only know 6 chords. And that kind of.
He's our Malcolm Young of the band.
But we have an amazing drummer who really, like,
shout out Hype.
He just feels where we're going, and he's our conductor. And we just follow him, and we'll talk stuff out, of course, but just to have that foundation behind you is amazing.
Yeah, I noticed you and Hype had kind of a more specific dynamic, kind of in comparison to like you and Rico writing the lyrics, but specifically you and Hype seemed to, which is natural, right? Bass player and the drummer, like to have some sort of maybe a little bit more of a specific connection. We say not better or worse. Don't worry, guys. Not better or worse. Just it was noticeable that you guys communicated very easily and comfortably and kind of knew. How each other worked.
They've known each other the longest of all of us, too.
Yeah,
important piece of the puzzle.
We played together for 22 years, 13 years with Electrick Nobody, and do the math, however many years before that, in different different bands, our own bands. We did Bill Street together for years, man. We were Guns for Hire. We did a lot together. And finding him at the record store that day was, I knew it was meant to happen. And
well, to tell the story,
he's been with us ever since.
We have been searching for a drummer for a while. We had, a handful of songs written, and we're looking to find that missing piece. I'll let Vino finish it off.
Well, anyway, I was off work one day, and I went in a Cats that used to be over on Union, and walked in. I forgot what I was looking for, maybe a Soundgarden CD or something. And I saw Hype's wife, Sheila, and I knew Sheila didn't drive. And saw her, said, hey, blah, blah, blah. I said, where's Big Man at? I know he's in there. And I went and found him looking at the Kiss albums on vinyl.
I think he had a Kiss shirt on or something that day.
Yeah, he's a huge Kiss fan. And he told me that, because I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and he told me that he was playing with one band, and I was like, hey, man, call them right now and tell them you quit. And he was like, well, I got a show with him in a couple of weeks, and then I'm done. And so he went and played the show with them, and before he even came to jam with us, he finished that show, and that was it. Because he knew that he and I had something together, and it was going to work.
I met him for the first time in the rehearsal room, and the next day I went out and bought him a new drum throne. I was like I got to keep this guy around.
That's awesome. Hey, that's taking good care. You got to have the throne, right?
Yeah.
So what types of, speaking of writing and music and collaboration, what types of influences do you guys have individually as musicians, or is it something that is largely shared, in terms of just musical influence, other artists?
Me as being the bass player, I come from, heroes of Bootsy Collins and John Paul Jones and Jaco Pastorius and Les Claypool and Larry Graham and a host of other people. So I'll sit around sometimes and do whatever I do and get these little riffs in my head, and I get a little working title for them. And then like some days when we're in the jam room and nothing's going on, I'll just start playing one. And if somebody likes it, we start working on it. Kind of like anything. If Rico's got a riff, we start working on it. Somebody's got a riff, we start working on it. But I just played the bass guitar.
Yeah. I mean, that's what brought us together initially, was our interlocking circle of musical interests overlapping. And so his love for, funk and blues. And we all have this similar influences, so made it easy.
Yeah, it came pretty, it didn't come easy. But, thinking back on 13 years right now, man, I am so happy and so proud with this.
It's kind of the pinnacle of what we've been able to put together here with you guys in Station 8 here. So it's pretty special to be able to kind of bring it home to me. I grew up right around the corner here. Went to Kingsbury.
His mom lives around the corner. My mom lives around the corner.
We all got a little Memphis right here.
So to bring it back home, is pretty special.
So you have, Chris, some uniquely special musical influence in your life from your dad, as we saw. I think everybody was really happy to hear more about it in the skit. Right, but so tell me about it. Tell us about your dad. I know a little bit, but give me the full details.
No,
they smile. They smugly smile.
No, these guys are sick of hearing my stories. Growing up, man, my pops, he's a founding member and a current member of the Southern rock band Black Oak, Arkansas. And so at a young age, I started going out and just, as his guitar tech, I was kind of his squire. I'd carry his guitars around and set up his rig, and we toured all over, man. I got to put thousands of miles under my belt as a teenager, traveling this country, and I've been to every motorcycle rally in the United States, and I've never ridden a motorcycle once. But it was really a unique experience growing up to have that freedom of, spring break, I'm hopping on the tour bus and we're going to go do some shows. And, I'm 16, 17, going to all kinds of illicit places. But just to have that experience and to be around professional musicians and to be influenced by them and to be influenced by their influences and turned on to a lot of great music that a lot of people don't get to experience because they've never been exposed to it. So
your dad was already always pretty encouraging of you in the pursuit of music?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my mother too.
It's not always the
family,
case.
yeah. So my grandmother on my mom's side is an amazing piano player. Her mother was always involved in music, so it was like on my mom's side, I had a lot of musical influence as a kid. And then, with Pops, it wasn't the polkas that my grandma was playing. It was just killer Southern rock.
When did you start playing guitar?
So
you guys are giggling over
yeah,
there.
I know. It's
We want to know the answer to that question as
Yeah.
well.
About 13 years ago.
yeah. I'm hoping to start next week, actually.
That's what I
But
was
no,
getting at. When's it gonna start?
we were living in Minnesota. And my mom came down to visit my pops Ricky, and they went to the casino, and she won a little bit of money and shot right over to Strings and Things and bought me a little Squire Strat for my 14th birthday. And
Strings and Things.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great store. Rest in peace.
Yeah, it was
once
the
again.
Yeah.
it was the one
Yes.
on Union. So
Is that they had shows there, right? I mean, I was young, but
was-
I remember that they definitely
it
were
was so
doing
small, I couldn't imagine. But
Yeah, the original Strings and Things, they would do like clinics and stuff like that. But then when they moved over to
That's
over here
where
on Madison-
Minglewood is now.
Yeah.
well,
it. Yeah, Minglewood building.
that was
That-
a
yeah.
huge undertaking. But
They had
Yeah.
Do we know what's going on with Minglewood? I heard recently that it was supposed to not be there anymore. Now it's. I mean,
I don't know. It's
yeah, I
Hard to
haven't
say.
really
really
heard
cool
anything.
facility, but
You ever played there? I
Uh,
played the lounge. I never played the big room.
We actually played in the basement. Well, me and Vino did more of a
yeah, I was with
a
a couple
rehearsal
bands.
situation. I
Couple
think.
bands.
on
that
that note,
rehearsed
all of
down
our favorite clubs are gone.
Right.
We
there.
played in so much over the years,
Yeah.
so it's kind of sad. But we're hoping to use this to meet some new club owners.
Yeah, nice. So, do you have? I know you guys have some shows though. You got some things going on.
Yeah,
So, what do you have? What do you have coming up?
When is it? Oh, I'm thinking next month, but it's actually this
Yeah.
month on the 28th.
August the 28th.
a couple
is
weeks
the
from now.
Okay.
World
so if you have a
Champion
time machine, as
World
you're listening
Hot
to this,
Wing Festival.
So, how
Yeah.
did that come about? The Hot Wing Festival.
well,
Our friend Brenda, who, man, I don't even remember how I met Brenda,
yeah.
but
Probably
she's
I
always.
mean, I've been involved in that
the Popular Lounge, probably.
festival
Probably
since
so.
it was in the parking lot of the Popular Lounge, playing with Alvin Oliveira, and we would play and then break the stage down for him, stuff like that. So
I want to say early on when the
our
festival
first
first
gig was-
started up, and it was actually before I was in the band. I knew these guys pretty much the whole time, but I did not play with them back then. I used to actually open up and do acoustic stuff for them. But yeah, I would be at like most of the gigs and stuff. But I remember one of the early Hot Wing festivals being down on South Main. They actually were in the contest and
Yeah, we had a team and
So-
we played.
yeah, that was-
so obviously
we had a keg of beer, and it really didn't go that well for us. The show went great. but-
Show was
right.
great.
So, Rico, what about you? When did music start for you in your life?
Oh man, as early as I can remember hearing anything. My parents both they had their things they love more than others, but Mom really was kind of open to like most genres of music, and she always had just like plenty of good albums sitting around and playing. Like back when everybody just didn't keep the TV on 24 hours a day. And of course, Dad, like I remember just a lot of times riding in the truck, and he'd whatever tape or, he would have going there. And so I was always around it. At a certain point, I think maybe a friend of mine had like some beat up guitar and I was trying to mess around with it, and then I think they let me keep it or something. They were like, man, you're better than me, you know, keep messing around. And it didn't even have all the strings on. I didn't know what I was doing. But then Dad like scored me a guitar at like a yard sale, or, you know, maybe he went and just got like a used one somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where he got it, but I remember him, here, you know, you can practice on that. And so I always just kind of fiddled around with like an acoustic. And of course, you know, when I got a little bit older, and Mom was like, you know, he kind of does good practice, whatever, you know, stays at it. So she got me one of those little starter electric kits, you know, like a Fender Squire Strat Bullet, you know, one of those deals. But of course, to me, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, you know. Had a little amp, had some distortion on it, so I could pretend that I was jamming, you know. But man, that was probably, I don't know, I was probably like 11 or 12, you know, when I started fiddling around with that broken guitar. And I know I was 12 or 13 when I actually, you know, Mom bought me the little starter rig. So.
I had the Bullet series as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to start off with, you know. But yeah, man, I just kind of stayed at it. And I was always around somebody who played or, you know, sang or whatever. Of course, meeting all of these guys working together as stagehands, you know, we quickly figured out we were all, you know, musicians or music fans, whatever you wanted to call us at that point in time. But so it just kind of cultivated. We were always playing, we were always jamming, whether we were, you know, a lot of times I'd be sitting around with Vino just kind of playing, you know, might help him with some lyrics or something, or
sitting around my one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Sitting around just picking. The neighbor would come over, bring his acoustic. And of course, we'd be, you know, grilling something.
Oh, of course.
As discussed.
All these stories, just imagine there's a smoker somewhere, either in the room or outside, hopefully.
I like that you guys incorporated that into your you know, your set. I think that was perfect.
Yeah, man, it had to be. That's just what felt right to us.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Vino? When did you pick up the bass?
Ooh, man. What millennium is this? Man, I was wow, 5 or 6 years old.
Oh wow.
So it's been
like 20 years now?
It's only been 12. No, so that's been like 40, 45 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, and played guitar and played drums and played all the brass instruments, all the percussion instruments, and all the guitar players were always better than me. And I could, I'll never be able to beat that guy. And because back then there was like, you know, after I got older and it's like, okay, maybe I'd have some skills or whatever. They used to have like these ultimate guitar contests and stuff like that. I would never enter because those guys were so badass. And so I went back to what I knew, and what felt great was the bass guitar. Mm-hmm. And that is the absolute love of my life, my passion. And I think it's the best instrument in the world. And I love doing it. And I love playing with these guys because, one, I get to play what I want. I've been a hired hand too many times, or, hey, no, we don't need all that. This band, that goes out the window.
Nice. So I know all of you have kind of mentioned it at one point or another throughout this discussion, is that there's kind of a certain emotion or message or feeling that kind of is at the root of the music. Is there like a specific, you know, I guess type of emotion or feeling that you're trying to capture in this music, or is it sort of ambiguous? Is it something general? Like what is that emotion? What is that feeling you describe?
It could go like kind of either way with that. Sometimes it's like the song may just very well be about something like, you know, in one of our lives. So that itself will depict the emotion. Like, you know, Hourglass is one that it just kind of me looking at my parents, and these lyrics are all in there, looking at my children getting older, and just, man, I don't know, it's probably about a good 6-month period where I was just stuck on the thought of what time does to us, you know. And it was I was scared and excited, I guess, at the same time, but it started coming out in my music a little more. But then a lyric that came across out of something me and this guy did in the garage one day, which that was the band room for a while at Chris's house, at Chris's current house. We were after, like, I don't know if we just practiced or we were just jamming, having a good time.
We were cooking out.
And we definitely were doing that. But I started picking off something, and it was kind of jazzy sounding a little bit. And Vino started singing some stuff. The only thing anybody remembered out of any of that was the word hourglass. And I remembered that when I kind of hit that mode, and I was coming up with this tune, like just on acoustic, sitting out in my backyard, which was like my favorite place to write, sitting out in the sun and breeze. And but yeah, all these thoughts of like getting older and the kids, just everything came into that. So it's kind of a like bittersweet emotion that came out of that, but it come from a very real place. And then there's others that's just like we came up with this cool groove or whatever, and it just had a feeling to it already.
Like Thursday. It was I think we had gotten done practicing everything we had, and
I
we
believe
were
it was a Thursday.
And
was it a Thursday? Yeah.
the name of the song, it happened on a Thursday, and I think we got in a little heated discussion because nobody had anything else to play, and somebody started something, and we started writing that song on a Thursday. Yeah. And now that's one of our...
Yeah, it had no title at first.
Yeah.
Like the next time we play, we were like, what did we end up calling that?
It happened on I don't know, but it happened on a Thursday.
It happened on a Thursday. It's like, fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah. Some things are just like sick and tired. I used to live over on Madison. 1529, the song. My address on Madison was 1529 Madison. And it used to overlook, there was this huge balcony up there, used to overlook Madison Avenue, and right across the street was
the P&H.
The P&H, and also the gay bar that used to be there. And just the things that I would see sitting up there, and the people just watching the people go by. Well, I see pimps and pushers, drugs and prostitution. Just started popping in my head, and so I ran downstairs, got my bass, went back up there with a notebook, and just started writing all this down. Just one night, just watching these people.
Yeah, I think all of our songs have a theme that we purposefully write so that everybody can relate to, like just whether it's daily struggles, love, pain, death, racing time. It's just all stuff that we deal with. So we hope that it might help you deal with it.
Do we have a love song?
Well, all of our songs.
Every
are love
song's
songs.
a love song.
Well, we love them all, but
tragic, maybe, but yes.
I'm gonna write a love song for
tales of struggles.
One of those sappy ones.
Yeah, and like I said, it might not necessarily be that we walked in like, okay, let's write about this today, but something's gonna come, like some lyric or just something's gonna happen. Just during playing, the new tune that, it will kind of come out what that feel is. And, it shows in the music. I think we agreed at one point that like, we don't have to be dicks about what we write about, but everything needs to be about something.
Yeah.
Not just like, hey, I made up this whole fake scenario.
Needs to have some depth.
It's got to be truth and honesty in the lyrical content. Because as I said before, everything that we write about is actual stuff that everybody goes through. Everybody walking the face of the planet. Regardless of religion, age, sexual orientation, finances, anything. It's the same. People are the same. Strip all that away, and what do you got? Just people.
Yeah. What do you, speaking of meaning, where'd the name come from?
I'll answer this. Chris had wanted to name the band the Crystal Blue Persuasion or something like that.
Well, we we booked a gig.
They were going for a wide
at the Hot Wings Festival. Actually, it
kind of
was
thing.
it was before Hype was in the loop,
Yeah.
and our good buddy Elvin Oliveira was playing drums with us, and I needed it. They booked me just because they loved us as people, and they knew we just formed a band. So I was kind of on the spot to name it. So I was like, the Crystal Blue Persuasion. So we played one gig with that terrible name.
And I hated that name. And I wanted to name the band Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
Which he hated. And so one night on the phone, me, him, and Hype were having a conference call about, because we need a name, man. We got to have a name. And Chris threw out what he wanted. Hype said what he wanted. I was like, I don't give a damn what y'all think. I'll call this band the Electric Nobody if I want to. And the phone went silent. And Hype goes, okay, that's the way it is. So we just,
actually,
got stuck like that.
The way I recall it is me and Vino were hanging out at the Papa Lounge, and we both had two terrible names, and we were in the bar. I can't remember who was playing. Maybe Homemade Flavor or somebody. But we were in the bar texting each other across the bar our terrible band names. And
I don't remember.
We somehow put two of them together. It became the Electric Nobody. And then we added a stupid K so that, everybody would misspell it.
Yeah, the K came later. So it would be misspelled and people would remember it to spell it right.
Yeah. We thought it was clever that it was Electric. And it kind of had a couple meanings to me, so it worked because, one, I work as an electrician on film and movie sets. Two, the K would kind of, nod to the Nobody Else, who was Black Oak during their Stax days. They had the name The Nobody Else, and they used a K as well, which Jim had warned me about.
They're gonna get it wrong.
But anyway, some convoluted story between those two stories.
Even with all of the,
it was a lot of beers
I think
ago.
it was this, and I think it was that. Some of that traces. If you look at the logo, a little more there. We're kids that grew up watching PBS in Memphis. Just like everybody else. Which obviously everybody knows Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people don't remember a show that used to air kind of back in the early days of Sesame Street was the Electric Company, which is where the whole little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that actually came from that. But they were all PBS shows. Some of these shows cooperated with each other. So like the logo is like the Electric Company logo, and then of course mixed with part of the name that the Nobody had to work its way in there.
Jim Henson's one of my heroes, So,
yeah.
You had the Electric Mayhem.
Right, and you also had the Electric Mayhem, which is like my favorite band of all time, by the way.
No doubt.
I think Animal is probably the best.
Oh, man, he was one of my inspirations.
I mean, I love Neil Peart and all, but Animal.
That scene in the church in the Muppet movie, just like as a kid, that
such
really
an eloquent
captured
public
me.
Speaker. Yeah.
He reminds you of Alvin.
So talking about, you just said talking about growing up in Memphis. That is because I want to hear about what you guys are have planned coming up and everything. But I think one of the bigger questions I always like to ask and hear from working with the Memphis musicians is, I guess, what influence, if you could put your thumb on it, like throughout your life and throughout your musical progression, has Memphis had on you and the music, just being in this city?
Stax.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Stax, man. Growing up on all this stuff, I heard all this. I'm a bit older than these cats, so I heard all this like when it was fresh and new coming out as a kid, and the stories that my aunts and uncles would tell, because they went to school with Isaac Hayes and some of the other Stax musicians and stuff, and so that was a huge influence on me with that. And my grandparents listened to Delta Blues and older cats, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, and them telling me all about how Bill Street used to be when they used to go down there. and just those stories. And I grew up. That's what I grew up on is Stax and funk and blues. This homegrown stuff, man.
Yeah, I'd have to say, growing up in a town like Memphis, you got Stax, which is major influence. So many great tunes came out of there. And, just like we kind of talked a little bit about Muscle Shoals a little bit earlier, a lot of stuff that people don't realize got recorded right there. A lot of Motown guys recorded their stuff there. Stevie Wonder, cats like that. But just having all those musical influences, and then the fact that, even though it's debatable on who and where exactly, but like, rock and roll starting up, kind of here-ish, wherever in different cities. But like, there were so many, by the time we were coming up, most of us, like there were so many different musical influences. I don't know how many different genres of band I've seen play that were from Memphis, and they all grew up listening to the stuff we did but that's what came out of them.
Yeah.
Right.
That sound was just so real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it was.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I think that's kind of the philosophy behind the Hum is, it's all Memphis musicians that, again, have shared the same city and the same influences in a lot of ways, but the genres and the sounds and how it's translated, completely different, in the experience.
Yes.
A few times I played with older cats in Nashville when I lived there, and
We don't talk about that place here.
well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Shout out Nashville.
When I lived there, I had about 4 different people, different situations, say, "You're from Memphis, aren't you?" Just from playing with them. Different sound, different feel.
Yeah, Tony Adams said the same thing when we talked to him. It was funny. People can just tell there's something about it.
Yeah.
Something about that energy. It's different.
Yeah, it's about that
It's
that whole feel. I mean, it's like
it's just a magic that,
Yeah.
like,
Memphis
is home of the blues, but
it's in the DNA.
it really doesn't have to do with the music. Like,
Yeah. It's
it's a tough place to live sometimes.
an interesting statistic
And
that I
That's
heard.
what breeds it.
Yeah, exactly.
I forget exactly when, a few years back, but Memphis is the most used word in songs throughout the world. Like it has been mentioned, or let me rephrase it. It's the most used city.
Yeah, right.
Right.
In songs all over the world. I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool thing, And then I kind of started thinking about there is a lot of tunes I probably haven't even heard them all because I might be listening to like Weevil or something like that, and they'll play you some stuff that, it might be really old, it might be new, but it's never just like mainstream. But I'll hear some old tune, and some reference to Memphis,
Yeah.
and it's just, and then of course in modern times,
I heard it in your song, Emmons Drive. You brought up the Heat, man. The Memphis Heat.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of the first verses, isn't it?
+1.
Man.
That's real quick to bring that up.
Yeah.
Gotta love that 100% humidity with 105 degrees or whatever it is. It's ridiculous.
I mean, if you spend
Living on the river.
Yeah. If you spend any time here, any significant time, you know about the Memphis Heat. So,
The crotch of the South.
right.
Yeah. Well, so I want to, as we kind of come to a close here, I want to hear about what the plans are. Like, what's the goal for Electric Nobody moving forward? I know you're kind of getting everything together and putting some music together. We got this performance coming out. We've got all these things happening. So what's the plan? What's the goal? What's up?
Well, we are currently, our website is under construction, and we're getting everything linked up with that. And thanks to you guys here at Station 8 that we now have
We have a product to shop ourselves.
a product. Yeah, and wanting to play a lot more, get out of Memphis and get around and still represent Memphis because this is home to us.
Absolutely.
I would say it's time for the world to meet the Electric Nobody and vice versa.
Yeah,
just going to keep on moving
I've
forward.
pampered these songs for so long and kept them alive through so many tribulations. Like, just want to just let them free like some birds, and get them out there.
Yeah, they've had their time cultivating, so
Yeah,
it's time to let them fly.
like cicadas.
Yeah.
Cicadas, another thing you know if you're from Memphis.
Yeah, very true. Right now, you probably hear them if you listen real close.
Oh yeah, I had a good one on my back porch the other night. That was just having a good old time, evidently.
Well, cool. So, did you guys? I have to ask. Did you have a good time working with Station 8 at the all throughout this process?
I had a blast.
It was
man.
fun. It was a good time.
One thing I said to the guys at one point, I think we were standing out by the grill, in between shots or something, and I was like, this is fun. This is like the kind of work that just it lets you know that you're in the right place. It's like, because when we're on stage, we're having a great time. Usually when we're at practice, we're having a great time, until we don't agree on something. But doing this, it was like a different aspect that, we ain't as used to the video side of things, other than just kind of like that lone cameraman at a festival or whatever. Like
shaky phone.
It was just fun.
It's a different experience to have, 3 cameras all like shooting you in 4K.
Right.
Like, wow.
Man.
It was not having those amps behind you.
And different experience, but very exciting.
We definitely want to thank Station 8 because that was
magical.
It was more than what we were expecting.
Yeah.
And also something that the band overall needed for the band, not only as far as the video and audio and everything, but that camaraderie.
Mm-hmm. Coming together to work on a project of
day.
Multi-level production.
Yeah, and just being together and having fun and not being at the jam room.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
No, we really can't thank you guys enough, and like what you're doing here is magical. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you.
I keep saying magical. I don't know.
Hey, there are worse things to be described as being, right? But no, I mean, I have to, at the same time, I have to thank you guys because all that, legacy that we were just talking about with Memphis and everything that's, it's represented as far as Stax music and beyond. You guys, like it or not, are the modern face. You're the modern progression. You're that next, evolution and everything that's happened before. And I think that's all Memphis musicians, and it's something that's really special that we all share. So Station 8 may be the ones like pointing cameras at it and kind of highlighting it, but you guys are the ones that are bringing it. So we have to thank you and acknowledge that too, because it's a collaborative effort. We all got to work together and stick together as Memphis artists.
Nobody
giving me goosebumps, man.
Hey, it's true. We're living it. And it's good. Man. We're coming out on the other side of this last crazy year, and you guys were able to turn it into something productive as a band, and moving forward and being able to take that and again share your product with the world and get it to as many people that are able to hear it. And I hope that this is some good benefit. And I think it's nice too to sit back and have a relaxed conversation with you. People can get to know you. So that being said, massive thanks. But also, how can people contact you? They see this, they want more. How can they connect with you online? Book you, talk to you, just take a picture with whatever they want. How can they find you?
There's several ways.
Right now, you can reach us through Facebook. Like I said, the website is under construction, and that will be the electricnobody.com.
Okay.
It'll be up before this comes out.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this, link in the description.
Yes, indeed.
Don't forget the K.
Yeah, the electricnobody.com.
We've got a Facebook. We're on Reverb Nation.
Nice.
We're kind of social media dinosaurs, but we're working on it. But also our email address is theelectricnobody@gmail.com. So you can shoot us an email.
Also in the description.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything will be.
Or you can just follow the smell of smoke.
If you smell some chicken wings or some ribs cooking, and you hear some bass playing going on, it's probably us.
You're probably in the right spot.
Well, cool. Well, guys, thank you once again. Thanks for doing the podcast. Thanks for being a part of the performance. And
thank you, Bret. And
man,
Nick
I think this
Drew.
It was meant to happen, man. This was a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We look forward to the next time.
Hey, we look forward to working with you guys
some more.
Definitely. So.
Yes.
Cool.
Indeed.
Cheers.
Peace.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to check out any of our other content, you can visit our website at station8productions.com or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Station8Productions. Thanks.